The Fox Texas Trio is back to discuss this rare, in my opinion, bipartisan effort to do something when it comes to criminal justice, to the criminal justice system. Rudy, the penalty, if this bill passes, would make the offender who cut their ankle monitor to serve out the rest of their term in jail and make this a state jail felony. Is this too tough of a penalty to get everyone on board?
You know, Stephen, I agree with Representative Anchia. This seems to be like a no-brainer. What, did Greg say that? Yeah, no-brainer. But as history has proven time and time again, common sense is not very common. Government can be stuck in a bureaucratic status quo that prevents or slows down positive change, which is why my word was molasses and not no-brainer. Now, reform certainly can be sticky mess to do, especially now during a time when progressive activists want to disband local police, and there are district attorneys and judges giving career criminals free passes out of jail only to reoffend. But this change, this bill, I think it will not get stuck in molasses, get stuck in committee. Stephen?
Greg, a Democrat from Dallas, a Republican from Houston, and Senator Joan Huffman basically having companion bills. Is this that one of those olive branches that both Democrats and Republicans may be able to hang their hat on at the end of this session?
Stephen, I watched the hearing on Huffman's bill before the Senate Criminal Justice Committee, and I thought Republicans and Democrats were going to bust out with a chorus of Kumbaya. Now, needless to say, it was moved to the full Senate on a unanimous vote. So to answer your question, yes, there is major consensus on this measure and a shared astonishment that stricter consequences weren't already in place. I mean, this is tough to oppose even for reform-minded, anti-incarceration Democrats. My guess is you could take it to both chambers tomorrow and get supermajority support.
Rudy, there was some finger pointing at the Board of Pardon and Paroles, basically pointing finger at Governor Abbott. There were some failures in this, and there are other examples of this. So is Anchia right at pointing fingers at pardon and parole?
Well, there goes your kumbaya moment, Greg. Well, sure, the governor is the boss, and Republicans have been in the top offices for more than 20 years. But Democrats like Anchia, you know, they've been under the Capitol dome for a very, very long time, too. And he says they were clueless about this, too, right? Well, remember the old saying, when you point a finger at someone, three more pointing back at you, right? Now, on the positive side, this bill is a bipartisan proposal. I agree with Greg. It's an example of how even arch political rivals can agree on something. But I don't think it's a sign of smooth sailing in the weeks to come. No, 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 no. Stephen?
Greg, when we covered this here in Dallas, the two hospital workers being killed at Methodist in Dallas, the hospital itself did not even know that they had someone who was approved to be in the hospital to witness the birth of their child. That seems like a big just drop in communication that the hospital was not notified. But do you think this could start a series of reforms, or do you think it's kind of a let's just be happy with getting the ankle monitor thing passed and then we'll talk about something else later?
Look, ankle monitors are a means of keeping defendants awaiting trial out of our overcrowded jails so they don't lose their jobs, their cars, and their housing. For that to happen, we as a society have to have confidence that they actually work, and part of that function is disclosure to those potentially at risk and severe consequences for those who disable or discard the tracking devices. The disclosure part is the toughest challenge because it requires trained people tasked with notification, and that is expensive, probably less costly than keeping defendants in jail. Now, interesting number, more than 1,100 Texas defendants cut off their ankle monitors last year, some of whom went on to commit violent crimes, and multiple states already charge defendants with a felony if they disable a court-ordered tracking device. Also intriguing, not a single progressive group or reform activist testified against Huffman's bill, which I think speaks volumes.
Well, there could be a lot of bipartisan, at least with this topic, so we'll have to wait and see how far it goes. To see this interview and any of our other segments, go to our station's YouTube channels.
And keep the conversation going by messaging us on social media.
And be sure and join us next week when we talk with Senator Ted Cruz about the growing national debt and the deeply troubled Texas border. In the meantime, let us know what you think The issue is